being able to pour back into ECOP the way it poured into me is just such a gratifying circle in my professional and personal, like, life.
You're listening to HBCU and Entertainment, where diversity, equity, and inclusion refine the future of entertainment. I'm your co-host, Amira Johnson, alumni and campus relations coordinator at ECOP, and welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we're featuring one of our amazing alumni, Kamaya Walker, who is a filmmaker and the ECOP Alumni Board content manager. I can't wait for you to hear more about her journey. With that being said, let's dive into today's conversation. Good morning, Kamaya. How are you today?
I'm good, Amir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really excited to talk to you today. So happy that we got the chance to just connect again. And I can't wait for people to just hear you drop all the gems, all the wisdom that I know you're going to have. So I'm excited for this.
I'm excited too.
Alrighty, so I'd love to just kick us off by asking if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and just maybe sharing a little bit about your professional journey so far.
Okay. Great. My name is Kamaya Walker. I am a 2022 graduate of North Carolina A&T State University. Um, I knew that I wanted to be in the film industry in in high school. I went to a school that had the high school equivalent of majors. They're called pathways. And my mom applied for the school for me, and she didn't tell me which pathway that she picked. I said, "Mom, which one did you pick?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "Girl, why don't you know?" She said, "It was either culinary or broadcasting." And I was dumbfounded because I'm like, these are two very, very different pathways. You're determining the rest of my life. And she picked broadcasting because at the time I had a YouTube channel. Very embarrassing. But she picked broadcasting, and I'm glad she did because in the first month, I learned so much. I'm grateful for the teacher that I had because she saw that I had a passion before I knew that I had a passion. So she poured a lot into me. She did a project where we all had to research a career in the entertainment industry from sports to news to film, all of it. And it was handed out at random, the roles, and she handed me film director. And after doing the research, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I said, I am going to do what it takes to get there. And she said, well, all you have to do to be a director is be a PA. Now that I'm in the industry, I know that she was very wrong. She was led astray. And either way, I spent from freshman year of high school to where I am now trying to be a PA. So there was a period in college when I would just make commercials for whatever I saw in my house. So I did a Febreze commercial. I did a deodorant commercial, and then I did a commercial for the food provider on campus. They had this new app, and I did a commercial for it because nobody knew about it, and I was like the only person using it. And then the director for the food program was like, "Do you want an internship? This is great." And I was like, "Heck yeah, get me in there." So that internship led me to getting a Disney internship where I worked at Freeform as the production management intern. It was amazing. Then that led me to working in casting, and I learned very fast I don't do casting. That is not the prep work that I'm interested in. And after that, I when I was in casting, this was the time where I was like, "Okay, this is what I need to lock in and become a PA." I'm lucky that during my first Freeform internship, I was virtual and they just so happened to be shooting something in Atlanta. So they let me day play on that show for a week. And I was like overwhelmed. This is a lot. In fact, on my first day, I cried. So when I got to my casting internship, I talked to literally everyone I knew. And I was like, I want to be a PA. I don't want to be in the office anymore. I'm not having fun. And they were like, okay, cool. And from there, I was able to get my first PA job staffed on Grownish, which was an amazing experience. I'm so happy that I did it because it really jump started this aspect of my career that I'm in right now. I met so many people that like, I adore to this day. I use them as mentors, and then I started getting other shows through those connections, and from there, I made a short film with some people who were in my cohort, my HBCU in LA cohort. The star is actually, Jalen Ellis, and my producer was Kendall Ivy, and my, executive producer and music designer was Jordan JB Brown. So it's like I took the opportunity to definitely network across because I value my friends and I value the people in my area, in my wheelhouse, because we struggle and we struggle together, and I think that's the best way to struggle. So yeah, that's right now, the long version.
I love it. No, I love your journey. I feel like it just shows the different paths that you get led to. It's crazy. Like, I love how you mentioned all the way from the beginning, going back to high school, your mom just kind of being like, okay, so it's this or that. And then her just kind of picking into the
Yeah,
outcome.
literally.
Crazy, crazy. But like for it to all lead to now, you gained so much experience too. So congratulations on that. But
Thank you.
really amazing. Yeah, really amazing. But it's just crazy. And then the people that, you meet along your way, you mentioned that you've met some beautiful people that have just helped you and helped inspire you. And then especially like your peers in the cohort as well. So what a journey, what a journey. But in those moments that maybe were a little bit challenging along your path, and you touched on it a little bit already, but I just want to follow up and ask you what keeps you motivated during those times of doubt and uncertainty?
That's a great question because I'm still trying to figure that out. I am currently in a period of uncertainty, and it's been nerve-wracking. So I've gone back to, like, my roots. I go to church a lot, and I really take in the atmosphere that is there because the church I go to is fairly, encouraging. I've been to churches in the past that have just been like, "You're young, you don't know what you're talking about, you have a life ahead of you, get over it." And I feel like this church is quite the opposite. They're like, they understand each stage of the entire congregation from, uh, fetus to elder, and as a result, they make sure that every person in there is accounted for and feeling uplifted, and I appreciate that. But, as far as secular activities go, I try to limit my screen time as much as possible. Social media is nerve-wracking, man. I find myself when I'm on there comparing my journey to someone else's or just getting outright discouraged because I see so many people winning, and it's hard to understand that social media is just a highlight reel when all you see on there is wins. It's like, obviously, this isn't a highlight reel. This is just somebody's life at this point. Like, they're living it up. They're happy, and I'm not. So when I'm down, um I really like there's this thing called a dopamine menu. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Yes, okay. I've started making a dopamine menu, and in that, it's forced me to be, like, cognizant of who I am and what I like and what I can do outside of being on my phone. And I've learned I've always known this, but I love to draw. I love art. So I spend a lot of time painting. Playing video games helps me keep control. Drawing and doing art helps me learn patience and just being with myself for a long period of time helps me have the discipline. And then going to church, like, it's that, like, end of the week slash beginning of the week uplifting session that I need to, like, calm me down from the end of the week and also prep me for the week to come.
I love so many things you mentioned. I wanna just go into, like, each one, but we definitely have to, like, catch up or something after this.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'm
love the video games, love the painting that you did, beautiful. The dopamine menu, yes, love everything. Definitely.
you get
Let's
it.
talk about all those things, yes. I'd love to talk about ECOP because you already brought it up in the beginning, but just that camaraderie and community that you found through being in the cohort. into the program, and a lot of people share similar stories, and I think it's so beautiful. So I just want to ask you, what has ECOP meant to you so far in your professional journey, and how has it helped shape your professional journey?
That's a loaded question.
It is. Take your time with it. Take your time.
ECOP was such a big part of my, like, beginning. So, I remember when Mama Stacy first came to A&T to talk about, the people who were in the cohort prior, the 2019 cohort, I think, and I was like, "Okay, bet. Like, if I get this, then I'm set for the rest of my life. I'm gonna be a PA real quick, cause I was still under the impression that that's what I had to do. She was wrong. So, I didn't get HBCU in LA the first time, and I was very sad, and at that time, like, I was getting so many rejections. I was like, "I can't handle this," and then that was right at the start of, like, the pandemic, so it was just so much going on. Terrible time to get rejected. But the year after, I got on an information call, and um, I don't remember what was being talked about, and they were like, "Do you have any questions?" I said, "No, I don't have any questions, but I just wanna let y'all know that I applied last year and didn't make it, and I have had lots of experience now, and I feel like I should make it in," and I got it in. Thank God. Thank God I did, because this program is what housed me when I got to LA. So I got my internship through Disney UNCF. Sorry to plug, but I got my internship through them. And then being out here in LA and staying in Emerson and being around, so many other people my age who were just trying to make it just like me was just what I needed to get through my internship. Because I was not enjoying my casting internship. I was learning so much information about the office and casting and the entertainment industry in general, but it was just a lot, and I did not enjoy just being in a position where so much was happening at the time. Now I can handle it because I've been on set and I get yelled at so much I don't even feel it. But being in the office for extended periods of time, because this is when they started going back in person, being in the office so long, being around all those people, having to people so much, it was just a lot. So coming back to Emerson every night was just, it was wonderful because I got to see a whole bunch of black kids being black kids like me. Like, we would go in the kitchen and have little baby parties. We would go to all types of venues every Friday, and then every Saturday waking up groggy trying to go to Black on the Block, stuff like that. Like, it was just amazing to be a part of the program that summer, and to also was able to stack so much paper so that I could actually move out here, because all I had to pay for was food when I got out here, food and Ubers. And then now, because of how amazing that experience was when I moved out here, I've joined the alumni board with Jared. He called me one day and was like, I think you should be in this position. I was like, I don't know why you think that. This is not my wheelhouse. And I'm glad he pushed me. I'm glad he pushed me. I was originally in charge of fundraising, or annual giving, like the Giving Tuesday lane, and at that point in my life, I was just so tired of collecting money from people. I had been doing fundraisers all college. I needed to I got money for graduation, and then I got on unemployment. Then I started producing a short film, so I was asking people for money because of that. It was just like every aspect of my life was selling something to someone, and it was frustrating. And then Jared picked up on that and noticed that I would, like, I had such a extensive experience in content and being able to market and being able to make videos that have compelling stories no matter how they're, like, what their intention is. So he promoted me, in a sense, to the director of content. So, like, being able to have this position and pour back into ECOP the way it poured into me, it's just such a gratifying circle in my professional and personal, like, life.
Love it, love it. I would love to just talk about your journey at NCAT as well. You mentioned a little bit about it, just talking about how you got the internship and you were able to produce commercials. But I just want to ask you, being an HBCU graduate, when you look back at your journey there, how do you think it helped contribute to what you're doing right now, your education? Were there any student orgs you were a part of, any courses, or any teachers, staff that you met that really meant a lot to your journey?
Going to an HBCU in itself is already like an irreplicable experience. Nothing could have prepared me for how great of a time I was gonna have. As far as orgs that I was a part of, freshman year, I I signed up for every org that I could think of, and then they they called for membership dues, and I said, I actually can't afford to be in a club." But there was one club that I think prepped me the most because of just the matriculation I had in it. It was called Aggie Night Live, and it was a Saturday Night Live-esque sketch comedy club. I the first year I was a dancer, and then they were like, You're a good dancer or whatever, but let's put you somewhere else." So they made me a director, and I was directing sketches. Then they were like, "All your sketches are, like, crazy good." Like, I wasn't writing them. I was just telling them what to do, what the blocking and all of that. They were like, "You're funny, and all your blocking is funny. Let's make you vice president."
I love that. That's so cool how you had that kind of Saturday Night Live vibe going on there. That's such a cool story. It sounds like you gained a lot of valuable skills from that experience. And I'm sure more so, just being a part of an HBCU. There's been a lot of shifts in the industry with the pandemic, the strike, just the current state of, the world. There's a lot going on. But I would just love to ask you, what changes would you like to see in the industry to make it more equitable and inclusive?
I'm glad you asked that because this is something I definitely need to think about as someone who does want to make socially conscious content. Um, I want to see more. I feel like every black person says this and it has yet to be fixed. I want to see more varied black content. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of the slave stories. I'm tired of the police brutality stories. They're necessary. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they're being made, but in the volume that they're being made, it's triggering for a lot of people. It's redundant. It's frustrating as someone who wants to make I wanna make stuff with a message, but I definitely recognize that not everything that Black people make has to have a message because that deters a wider audience. So, what I would like to see is a consistent level of Black content that can be meaningless, so we can be in the position to have meaningless content.
Mm. Woo, a lot right there. I think that's the perfect way to end. It was so great talking to you. You brought up, like I said, a lot of stuff that I love to chat with you more about. But
Yeah.
yes, congratulations on all your success too. I'm really excited for you. I think you are very talented. The future is big and bright for you. So just keep on doing your thing. And yeah, thank you for sharing your time with us to talk about your journey. And we appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. We should do this more often.
Yes, yes, I love to. I love to. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for joining us today and tuning in to another episode of HBCU and Entertainment. If this episode resonated with you, please comment, rate, and review the podcast. Your feedback means the world. Until next time, we appreciate you for lending us your ears. Catch you in the next episode.